plain clothes, in the commonly known Toyota Hiace, the drone. So those are also reports that came in and are being followed. But for me, one thing that has caught my attention away from the politics, Olive, and our viewers, and also to the youth, after United States cutting aid through USAID, we have a danger that has befallen us. Now, the MAT clinic at Butabika Mental Referral Hospital, Rehabilitation Hospital, has closed. They have closed, and they had about 725 patients who are receiving methadone. Now, because of the cutting of funding, this has closed. Now, it leaves these people who are suffering from substance use disorder. They don't know what tomorrow holds for them. Many are moving into other rehabilitation centers. Remember, one of the expensive things to deal with in this country is treatment. And the among most expensive treatments is treating mental disorders. Now, for the youth who are there and you're abusing substances, think twice. Think twice. This is not good news for you.
Well, that is a sad state of affairs, if you ask me, Chiravo, especially for the youth, because when you look at reports that come in from Butabika National Mental Referral Hospital, you will find that over 70% of their inpatients or patients at large are mostly the youth, and these ones are mainly because of substance abuse like drugs and also alcohol. So if a clinic is closing, this is painting rather a dark picture for the future of the country. Good morning, Julie. How are you?
Good morning, Olive. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Robert. It's so good to be here. Good morning to the viewer. I'm so happy to be here. How are you?
I'm great.
That's great.
How was your drive to work today? Anything eventful?
Cold, I must say. But allow me speaking to one of the stories I have been following, especially now that Robert has talked about, you know, the youth and mental health. One of the tools, as we celebrated World Radio Day last week, one of the tools I know that keep any human being intact in regards to company and communications, it's radio. But one of the stories that is interesting is one that is coming back, and it's in regards to local community radios. Those are the ones they call the Bizindalo, the megaphones. And yesterday I got to learn that government is considering to suspend the ban on these megaphone radios on villages, but it's doing it through a pilot that is beginning from Chiboga district, and it started in fact on 15th of February, and it will be moving throughout the country. But I'm looking forward to see what that pans out as, given that community radios are spaces that share local news, market news, sources of employment, or communicate whatever employment could be around the village. They have their advantages in regards to the local community. And having a bit of a backstory in regards to these radios, it's also understood that they are not necessarily operating freely. They pay licenses to the local government. Their advertising is quite lower cost than mainstream radio. So with this pilot, as the government looks forward to have a pilot and regulate the whole system of megaphone radios, or that is Zindalo, I'm just looking forward to how it will pan out altogether in regards to communication in Uganda and its regulations.
Actually, that's exciting, if you ask me, Julie. Last week on Radio Day, I remember one of the person that was representing UCC, the regulator, said they have been trying to bring them down. They have been, what's the word, for like confiscating the Bizindalo all across the country, because according to them as the regulator, their broadcasting was illegal. But as a person that has ever benefited from the Bizindalo, like when you go to the village, you know at this time, this is the hour, It's like when the imam starts the morning prayer. For the Muslims, you know, oh, this is 5:30 or this is 1 p.m. So as a media person, I didn't feel good when I heard that they were confiscating the Bizindalo. So that's a very good highlight you've shared with us.
Just for clarity purposes.
Yes.
Actually, there are two things here that people must get in context. Now, they are putting down the Bizindalo. And what they're talking about as community radios, these are going to be radios with frequencies, particularly in that area. That's what they are piloting in Chiboga. Not that they are allowing the community, the Bizindalo back. No.
But now, Robert, community radios and frequencies, it means that some areas will be left out because, let's face it, getting a frequency is not a walk in the park.
Yeah, that's why when I heard Honorable Nyombi Tembo talk about it, something didn't move properly because you're stopping the Bizindalo. That I just get these megaphones, I can communicate a lost child. Now, a community radio, because this is going to be regulated by UCC, has challenges of its own. Much as you're going to say that, for example, in the radius of National Theatre, what you have a frequency you can tune in and listen to, but it will not be as effective as the Bizindalo. I accept the Bizindalo sometimes were very detrimental, like sound or noise pollution. Many people complained about that, noise pollution more so. That someone would speak any minute, any time.
You regulate that. You do not.
But also,
I don't think community radios will maybe a very good substitute for the megaphone things that we have been using.
Well, Jerome Paul, good morning. I would like to hear your views on that. Good morning. How are you? How was your drive to work today? You look very demure, very cutesy. I must use these words on you this entire week.
I was enjoying the discourse from Studio B. Good morning to you. And good morning to Julie and Robert. I would definitely say, as someone who has grown up listening to community radio and the local Bizindalo, I want to see how everything is going to pan out because there are some communities that have entirely been dependent on those Bizindalo you know, moving around area to area. But because the regulations keep coming in, we wait to see how that pans out. And then on the other interesting bit, the drive to work has been an interesting one because from the side where I reside, it did rain yesterday during daytime. But as you come closer to Kampala, there is no sign of that. Yes, it becomes more dry.
Yes.
And so it is really posing, you know, it's really reminding me of those scenarios where someone can tell you have an interview tomorrow morning, and where you're coming from, it is heavily raining, and by the time you reach your destination, it is really dry. You're late, you're wet, you have mud on your shoes.
If you're lucky to have mud, because sometimes you don't have the mud, so it's hard to convince them
the person that it was raining in, let's say, Boyogere or Mukono. But that said, Olive, there is some development coming in from the Vatican, and it's not good news, especially around the health of the Pope, and many of the Catholic faithfuls or many of the people in Rome have been worried about the health condition of the Pope. And it's in the same regard that the Vatican did release a statement regarding the health status of the Pope, and also reminding the Catholics and the entire Vatican that, well, the condition of the Pope might be worrying at this time, but they are keeping him in check, and he's, of course, under the attention of the medics.
Well, we pray for the Pope, and hopefully he heals pretty well and very fast. But it's also important to note that he's advanced in age. 88. So yes, so with old age comes many ailments. But still, we believe in the Lord and pray that the Pope is healed. Now, coming back here to our Uganda, Robert Chirabo and Julie, what do we have in the news today?
Well, the Electoral Commission has concluded the update of National Voter Register exercise, and that is in preparation for the 2026 general elections. The exercise, which had kicked off on 28th January to 10th February 2025, was extended for a week to allow those who had not met the official deadline to verify their particulars with the Electoral Commission. Pikwo Nora is the chairperson for women in Nkrumah village, Kampala Central, moving door to door, reminding residents in her area to go and update their particulars with the Electoral Commission. Pikwo Nora also was able to report that the turn-up for this exercise in some of the polling stations she visited in Kampala Central was generally good. And according to Sebunya Haruna, the General Secretary, Church Zone in Najanankumbi Rubaga Division, some people had mistaken the exercise for the renewal of national IDs. The update exercise has been targeting eligible Ugandan citizens of 18 years and above who are not yet registered as voters, and it's also a self-reporting exercise in which a person intending to register as a voter turns up in person to an update center to provide his or her details, have their photograph taken, and the signature and fingerprints captured. And
the Chief of Defense Forces, the CDF, and Senior Presidential Advisor on Special Operations, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, commended the commanders and participants who took part in the parades during the Liberation Day commemoration in Mubende and the Tarahe Sita celebrations in Kyotera. General Muhoozi made the remarks during a luncheon and awarding ceremony hosted at the Special Forces headquarters in Entebbe, where he emphasized the importance of continuous improvement in the military parade. He expressed gratitude to the participants for their excellent execution of drills and highlighted the need to maintain high standards through unit drills and competitions. The commanders emphasized the significance of parades in showcasing discipline and military capabilities. The initiative promotes continuous improvement, refines skills, and strengthens teamwork among participants. By investing in military parades, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba seeks to uphold the Uganda People's Defense Forces (UPDF) reputation to discipline and excellency.
Well, opposition leaders led by the National Unity Platform President Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu visited Luzira prison this morning to check on the political prisoners. However, they were unable to see some of them, including Dr. Kizza Besigye. Among the leaders present were Winnie Kizza, Alice Alaso, NUP Secretary General David Lewis Rubongoya, and leader of the opposition in Parliament, Joel Senyonyi. The delegation wanted to assess the condition of all political detainees, such as Dr. Kizza Besigye, Abedi Lutale, and Bobby Young. Speaking after the visit, Kyagulanyi expressed sadness over their ability to see Dr. Besigye, urging Ugandans to pray for him. Besigye's message to the team was conveyed through Abedi Lutale. Kyagulanyi dismissed remarks made by Minister of ICT Chris Baryomunsi, who had visited Besigye earlier. Winnie Kizza called on Ugandans to take collective responsibility for securing the release of all political detainees. Leader of opposition Joel Senyonyi confirmed that the high-level meeting with opposition MPs is scheduled for tomorrow or today, which is 18th February, to discuss further steps.
Meanwhile, in Kampala, police arrested FDC party members who launched a demonstration dubbed Free Besigye campaign, protesting for the immediate release of retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, who is remanded at Luzira prison. The arrested included Kampala Deputy Mayor Doreen Nyanjura, Ingrid Turinawe, a veteran politician and activist, among others. The protesters who participated in the demonstration dubbed Free Besigye campaign were abruptly disrupted by security, forcing them into running battles. Soonest, there was heavy deployment to disperse the protesters, who carried placards while others chanted slogans condemning the alleged political prosecution. However, police arrested several of them and detained them at Central Police Station in Kampala. The supporters vowed to continue protesting until Besigye and other political prisoners are released. Meanwhile, the Deputy Police Spokesperson, Kampala Metropolitan, Luke Owesigire, confirmed their arrest. Luke stressed that the arrests are guilty of public nuisance and disrupting people's businesses, among other preferred charges.
where the Vatican is saying that the Pope's health is a complex clinical situation. This according to the Vatican. Pope Francis is being treated for a complex clinical situation and will remain in hospital for as long as necessary, the Vatican has said. The 88-year-old was admitted to Rome's Gemelli Hospital on Friday to undergo treatment and test for bronchitis. On Monday, the Vatican said the pontiff has a polymicrobial infection of his respiratory tract, which has required a change in his treatment. A later update added that the Pope was proceeding with the prescribed treatment in a stable condition and did not have a fever. He also undertook some work and reading while in hospital on Monday. Pope Francis is touched by the numerous messages of affection and closeness that he has been receiving in recent hours, a statement added. He especially wants to extend his thanks to those who are hospitalized at this time for the affection and love they have expressed through drawings and messages of good wishes. He prays for them and asks that they pray for him. Before his admission last week, the Pope had bronchitis symptoms for several days and had delegated officials to read prepared speeches at events. Vatican spokesman Matteo Bruni also told reporters on Monday that the pontiff was in good spirits. A short statement on his condition said, and I quote, "All tests carried out to date are indicative of a complex clinical picture that will require appropriate hospitalization." Now moving on, Argentina president faces impeachment cause over crypto crash. Argentine President Javier Milei is facing impeachment cause and legal action accusing him of fraud over his promotion of cryptocurrency on social media. Milei posted on X, formerly Twitter, about the Libra dollar coin on Friday, which he said would help fund would help fund small businesses and startups. He shared a link to buy it, causing its price to shoot up. But within a few hours, he deleted his post and the cryptocurrency nosedived in value, losing investors most of their money. Some opposition members of Congress say they plan to start proceedings to impeach Milei. Meanwhile, lawyers filed complaints of fraud in Argentina's criminal court on Sunday. Some people online have accused Milei of what is known as a rug pull, where promoters of cryptocurrency draw in buyers only to stop trading activity and make off with the money raised from sales. They pointed out that the link used to buy the coins referenced a phrase the president uses in his speeches. But Argentina's presidential office said on Saturday that the decision to remove the post was to avoid speculation following public reaction to the launch of the cryptocurrency. And moving on, DRC rebels promised security after seizing Bukavu in the country's east. The allegedly Rwanda-backed rebels in the Democratic Republic of the Congo have promised to restore security in Bukavu, the second major city in the country's east to fall under the control of the M23 since late last month. Residents of the capital of South Kivu province were tentatively walking the streets again on Monday, a day after M23 rebels overran the city with next to no resistance from the fleeing Congolese army. Thousands of people have fled to neighboring Burundi, while some residents who stayed behind welcomed the M23 as columns of fighters entered Bukavu on Sunday morning. In a statement read on local radio on Monday, a rebel alliance that includes M23 said it would assist the population of Bukavu who were abandoned by the army and allied combatants. Our forces have been working to restore the security for the people and their property, much to the satisfaction of the entire population, it said. Bukavu is the latest city to fall into the hands of the M23, also known as the March 23 movement, which in recent months has seized swaths of territory in the eastern DRC after again taking up arms in late 2021. Well, now let's have a look at the press with Jerome Paul.
Well, the Daily Monitor writes, Besigye fever here in Uganda. You can find details about the activists that were arrested and are in police custody. And then those were in the city protest. Then in the 48 hours, there is an ultimatum. The opposition political leaders yesterday issued a 48 ultimatum to the government to release Dr. Kizza Besigye from detention. Will the government follow suit? We wait and see. And then the opposition bounced from Luzira. The opposition politicians that arrived at the maximum security prison in Luzira yesterday had gone to the facility to check on Dr. Kizza Besigye, but were bounced by the officials there. Now, Ishaka party members on the streets, the supporters of the People's Front for Freedom, marched to the Bushenyi Ishaka municipality streets to protest the continued detention of Dr. Kizza Besigye and other political prisoners yesterday. Now they're just giving you a broad map of whatever was happening in there. And in between the lines, from Luzira prison to the streets of Kampala and districts upcountry, the pressure is mounting on government to release opposition politician Dr. Kizza Besigye. Now, how Reverend Gaston Sereko was picked as 7th Bishop of West Buganda. The House of Bishops on Sunday surprised faithful when they elected Reverend Castor Sereko as the new Bishop of West Buganda Diocese. And then there are tenders for deals with the deals at Bank of Uganda, Electoral Commission, Kampala Ministry, UEDCL, among others. Then in Kenya, the Daily Nation writes, why Kenya keeps losing top jobs race matters diplomacy. The analysts argue that the country's latest defeat the African Union is attributable to familiar missteps. Now also in matters demise, tributes pour in for fallen Kepsha boss. And in Parliament, Ruto yields to Raila on House committees as aid cuts to fuel rise in new HIV infections. That is from the health report in Kenya. And then principals want to raise school fees by 27,000 Kenyan shillings. According to new developments coming in from there. Now, 5,000 learners in their schools in principle do not pay tuition fees, but Kesha now wants them to pay 5,372 Kenyan shillings annually. Then the Dramval saga, tale of Waititu, illegal liquidation, and the 10 billion shillings piece of land. Then also, humiliation galore. Veteran politician Raila Odinga's recent misadventure in Addis Ababa wasn't Kenya's first. Since 2017, when former Foreign's Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed lost to Chadi's Musa Faki Mahamat for the same position of AUC chairperson, more defeats have followed on the continent and internationally. Now, each of them has been punctuated with concessions, blame games, and supposed lessons for the future, according to the Daily Nation. Now, when you look at the losing streak, in 2025, African chairperson Raila Odinga, 2024, headquarters of Loss and Damage Hub, 2022, Secretary General of the International Maritime Organization, Nanthi Karigithu, did lose. 2023, headquarters of the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, Kenya did lose that as well. In 2022, President of International Fund for Agricultural Development, Rachel Omamo. Then WTO Director General Amina Mohammed. Then in 2017, still, Kenya did lose that particular one where they had people competing or vying for the spots. The African Union Commission Chairperson Amina Mohammed did lose. Then away from that, we look at a citizen from Tanzania. UK's envoy take on radical shift in aid policies as TANROAD unveils plan to ease congestion and boost connectivity in 5 cities in TZ. And then Tanzania bags $12.6 million horticulture deals at Germany event as SMEs are embracing digital payments as cashless economy continues to expand. Now, in an exclusive interview with The Citizen, British High Commissioner to Tanzania, Marian Young, shared insightful conversations into the global shift in foreign aid and its potential implications for Tanzania. And then lastly, from the press review back home here, the new vision, why government has raised next year's budget. Budget has now increased by 8.6 trillion Ugandan shillings. The congressmen condemn USA sanctions on Uganda as in her vision, a woman's silent battle with perimenopause. Read about that in the new vision. Now, State House probes Mulago land grabbing. And then also read about the new Bishop of West Buganda and Sereko. And there's a big question. Did the DR Congo conflict cost Raila AU top job? More of that is in the new vision. And now, Bishop Wanok reconciles Acheng and Amongi ahead of the 2026 polls. And well, that does it for our press review this Tuesday.
And we'll take a short break. We'll leave you with the inspiration song of the day from Godwin. Enjoy.
Basically, our role is coordination. We are focal point. We ensure that the people understand what East African Community is all about. And in turn, when we go to the regional meetings, we bring out the position of Uganda on any matter. And we take part in the own negotiations of the policies and the protocols of ESC.
Okay. And when you look at the past few years, or even up to today, Uganda has been a strong advocate, PS, for regional integration. I wonder, though, what has been our role in meeting the East African integration vision, and then also, what has been the progress so far?
The role that we have played, first of all, as Uganda, you are right, we have been very strong advocates of East African integration, and we will continue being strong advocates. And because of that, we make sure that whatever decision is made at the regional level, we embed it in the national decisions, in the national policies, such that it becomes part and parcel of what we do here in Uganda. We also make sure that we are part of the apparatus that take decisions. For example, at the top level, we have the heads of state. Our president is part of the summit of heads of state and is always very actively participating. At a decision-making level, policy-making level, we have ministers who are members of the council and the sectoral councils. At the permanent secretary,
Shouts of joy and ululation filled Karajubu division as jubilant residents welcomed the State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs, Balambaro Gahara, who is currently on a PDM assessment tour in the area.
With the PDM, I want to thank the government of Uganda, that's led by His Excellency the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for this wonderful and good program. The program is good. The challenge is only one. The numbers are overwhelming vis-a-vis the money we normally receive. So far as a division, we have received 621 million.
The minister tasked the PDM coordinators to list the PDM beneficiaries publicly.
We are assessing the impact of government programs in the community. I'm pleased to inform that some people have benefited, but the youth in Karujubu, they have been left out. The money meant for the youth was not given to the youth. I'm only noted today when I asked the parish chief and the town clerk, the deputy town clerk, where the money for the youth is. They were all claiming that.
With MTN voice bundles, call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Juko.
Yo.
Wachikuwa. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model, PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The Parish Development Model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, good morning. Thank you for being here with us here on Good Morning Uganda. My name is Olive Monica Najuma, and I'm glad to be having this conversation with you today. See, every time when the police releases a traffic report, you're going to see lots of deaths. They will say, we have lost over 5,000 people in, let's say, 2 weeks, in a week's time. And it is reported that most of the accidents that are on our roads are caused by human behavior. Now, today, I will be speaking to Joseph Beyanga, also known as Joe Walker, to talk more on his walk from Kampala to Gulu that is aimed towards spreading the gospel about road safety and, of course, how we should behave while we are on our roads. So join the conversation. You can join us through WhatsApp number 0709-602-592. Mr. Beyanga, good morning and you're welcome.
Good morning, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine.
You're
How are you?
looking bright in the morning.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to have you. So which name should we use here? Beyanga, Joe Walker?
Let's use Joe Walker because we are walking.
We are walking.
Yes.
Yes, and you have walked in the past.
Yes.
I noticed you've walked to Bushenyi and other parts of the country.
Yeah, 2022 Kampala to Bushenyi, 2023 Kampala to Mbale, 2024 Kampala to Fort Portal, and in between we do walks around Kampala and other areas.
Okay.
Yes.
And before we get into it, first of all, tell us about the Joe Walker initiative, what inspired you to start it, and how is it going?
So Joe Walker started with, my walking started with a doctor's prescription. And the doctor said, you know, I had some very funny pain in the shoulder blade on the back. And went to doctors, they did all tests and everything was we don't see a problem. And then my father-in-law, a very nice man, hi Baba.
Wow.
He recommended, said, you know, we have this old good friend based somewhere, an orthopedic. I said, go check him out. Maybe it could be something wrong with your bones. So I went and actually checked out, and the guy did all tests and everything. I said, young man, you look like you are okay, you have no problem. Maybe you are suffering from an inflammation and all that, and the easiest way to get rid of it is you need to do some exercises. By then I was not exercising. The only exercise I was doing is getting out of bed, go to the bathroom, and you know, yeah, so, and that was in the middle of the second COVID lockdown. So the only exercise I could do was, he recommended walk for 30 minutes and cycle for 30 minutes. Bicycles were more expensive than cars.
Around that time, yes.
Yeah, so I had no option but walking. Now I said, let me walk for 60 minutes. So I started walking 60 minutes, and then the 60 minutes became 70 minutes, and became 80, became 90. And but so that's how the walking journey started.
Okay.
But while I was walking, remember it was in the lockdown, and people were really not allowed to come on the road with the borders and everything. So I was walking in Kawaragara, and there was one border carrying what looked like 3 generations, like a mother, daughter, and grandchild.
On one border.
One border in the middle of lockdown, you know. And as the guy was rushing, and the car was also rushing, it must have been one of those cars which never had the COVID sticker. Must have been, and the guy was also rushing, you know, before KIU. And lo and behold, the border and the car.
Oh my God.
I never continued my journey.
Did they make it?
I could not look back because it looked so bad. And, you know, when I walked back to the office at Monitor, I just looked. Now, back in 2018, I had started something, Stay in Your Lane, if you remember, getting errant drivers and, you know, name and shame, trying to change driver behavior. But when I went back now, I looked through the statistics. What we normally report, an accident, and then realize really what we call accidents, and they are not accidents.
These are lives.
These are lives.
We are reducing them to statistics.
Every crash
yes.
is a human life. And then I went and studied deeper. Who are the most affected people? It's between the ages of 5 and 29. I looked back at my life at 29. What was happening when I was 29? 29, that's when I got married. 29, you are getting a nice promotion at work. You know, things are... 29, you are thinking of building your home. 29, you're expecting your child, or you already have... So basically, your life is beginning to start.
You're starting to contribute to your family, to the economy, to be a responsible and reliable citizen. 29,
you are not just only one person, but you are responsible for your immediate family.
Yes.
You are responsible for other dependents.
Yes.
So I looked at the impact road crashes have on us as individuals, on us as families, as a society. And I said, no, we can do something about this. And then what can we do? What can I do? All that I know since I was born up to now is media. And so I looked at road safety. What are some of the contributing factors to road safety? One, there is education, where I'm not a driver's instructor. Two, there is enforcement. I'm not a policeman. Three, there is education, the second component of education, which is awareness. I said, I can create some awareness. I said, how do you create awareness? So I continued. Now, remember, at the same time, I'm walking. I'm still on my on my doctor's prescription.
Yes.
I'm walking, and I am also seeing what's happening on the road. I said, look, since I'm spending so much time on the road, I started seeing so much more evils that were happening on the road. You know, the police will give you a report, say, oh, this is caused by driver behavior, reckless driving,
overspeeding, reckless speeding,
yes. And you start seeing them in real time. I said, maybe these people think this is the best they can do. What can we do? I said, Joe, you've been in the media. You can use your walking, tell the story of road safety in the media. Walk talk, educate people. And then when you look, you know, the more I continued walking this journey, the more I saw many things. Kampala, right now, as we are talking, as we are seated here on TV, and a few people watching us home, and you have more than 50% of the people getting into the city, they are walking. That's right. Another 15 or so percent is on borders. I think it could have grown to 20%. A small percentage is using taxis. Another small percentage is using private cars. Yes. And then you come to our roads. Look at the way the roads in the city are designed. The roads are thinking of cars first. They are thinking of motorists. And even when we have such a growing, huge population of borders, I think over 200,000, between 200,000 and 400,000 borders in the city every day. Where's the infrastructure? We don't have where's the enforcement? Yes. So I said, look, we can do something about this. Let me be the one who will join the many, because there are many people who are in this sector of road safety. Other players, I said, there are other players who are technical in terms of demanding more technical things. There are other players who are into advocacy. I said, look, I can be in the sector of raising awareness. Because what's happening, at least if we make sure you, the driver, know what to do on the road, how to take care of other road users, maybe one extra person can get back home safe today. Yes. Wow, interesting conversation here. Now, if you're just joining us, we are speaking matters road safety. Joe Walker plus his other colleagues, because I'm sure you're not walking alone. No. He is walking a 340-kilometer journey from Kampala to Gulu, but so that he can spread awareness regarding road safety. So if you're just joining the conversation and you want to be part of this cause, please send in your questions through WhatsApp number. It's on your screen. It is 0709602592, and next the hashtag is UBCGMU. Ask Joe some questions. Do you want to join the drive? Do you want to join the cause? Ask him the questions. Ask how you can be a part of this. By the way, you don't even have to walk if you're busy or maybe your health, but you can contribute, right? Sure. There are so many ways people can join the walk. Yes. If you can't join, you can support a walker. There are so many young guys who say, I'm passionate about this, I want to join you, and we raise awareness. But I can't, because on every day, each walker, you need to feed. Yes. You need to sleep. And you know, good feeding and good sleep, good rest are really important for you to be able to stay walking for the 340 kilometers. So you can support a walker. You can, there are information on my social media handles, or you can also use my number 0782 602061. 782 602061. You got it right. Yes. You can send in your support for the workers, and on average each day to be costing somebody 100,000 Uganda shillings. That's for your accommodation, food and accommodation. For the meal. The other refreshments, Renzori Water gave us water, and other people are taking care of. We have Enoch is coming because okay. You are very passionate about this. You're excitedly talking about it. And I love that. I love that. Because you see, it's one thing to say we are walking. It's another to be passionate about it, because in passion, that's where you get the results, right? Yes. So when we are walking, we are doing many things. We are walking, to experience. Because when you go into the police statistics, the biggest number of the victims of the road crashes in Uganda are pedestrians, followed by motorcyclists, yes, the borders. And then, so we're saying, look, let's go in and experience people what they are experiencing. While we are experiencing that, and we ask questions, how can we make this better? So we're going to be having interactions with roadside communities. We're talking about roadside communities. When you go now, when you break it down to pedestrians, who are the most affected? They are people standing on the road, waiting for taxis. There are people who are on the roadside markets vending their stuff. They are school kids. Yes. School kids. school kids crossing the road going to school. As you are moving in the morning, in the evening, remember to slow down, take care of school kids. I know you are driving yours to school, hey, but somebody else's kid is walking. Your child's favorite friend is walking. Please take care of them. Look at them and think about your own kids. Thank you very much for slowing down and letting the school kids cross the road safely and making sure they get back home safe. Their parents are waiting for them the way you are waiting for yours. Thank you.
So you're holding us all very accountable, Joe. And when you finish that point, I would like for you to tell us about the new speed limits that the government has released.
Come to that one. Yes. That's an exciting one. So we'll have engagements with the roadside communities and talk to them on how do they think the roads can be made safer. Because they are walking and then they are crying and they are crushed when they are standing. Then too, we will go to schools. We'll go to schools and talk to kids. You remember when we were young, we were taught, when you are crossing the road, look left,
look right, look left again.
And if it's clear,
cross. Now you have people riding and driving in one-way lanes.
So we'll go talk to the school kids to make sure they become more safe and pay more attention to things on the road, because they are the future drivers, they're the future riders,
and
we need to talk to them when they're already pedestrians. We need to talk to them when they are still young and just inculcate that. And we will talk to the drivers, we will talk to border riders, we will talk to local authorities and engage on how can we make our roads safe. Look, it's everyone's responsibility. So we have people who have come on board. We have Pride Bank, which we used to know as Pride Microfinance, coming on board saying, hey, look, we will help you with the logistics. We have UNOC. They say we are not just only making sure we have the oil and the fuels and all that move the vehicles, but we also make sure we contribute to the safety on the road. We have Renzo is giving us the water.
Yes.
And we have other people joining in, other companies are coming in. We've been talking to the drivers licensing, UDS, they're saying, we will join you. Fuel companies like Starbucks saying, we will join you. So we're looking on how do we all make it safe to make sure Monica gets back home safe.
And that Monica's children are also back home safe, my grandparents, my friends, all of us. Because at the end of the day, I normally say this, we do not have spare limbs. So as we move on these roads, we need to ensure that we keep the limbs that we have safe.
You know, spare limbs. Artificial limbs can come in and all that.
But how many can even afford those?
What about the 4,806 people?
Yes. Dead.
Killed. You know, when you said dead, it's like they slept in a, they slept.
No, killed.
No, they are killed. So
and then the 16,700 injuries. Just 1 year, 2023.
No, these are injuries. These are seriously injured. There are another 23,000 plus who just get injuries and they can come back, but they have that scar. Yeah, so really what we are looking at doing as a Joe Walker initiative, as a Joe Walker Foundation, is to just create a nation where people feel for each other, where what affects Monica affects Joe Walker, where what affects Joe Walker affects the kid crossing the road, affects Morris. We need this nation where we have a pulse that feels for everybody. And Joe Walker is doing it in road safety. Another person is doing it in another sector. We need to feel for each other as a people. Know that what affects my neighbor affects me. I can't be okay if my neighbor is not okay. That's what we need to know. This business of driving, like because you are in that government car, yes, you guys in the government cars, you drive badly. You are in that government car, you know, the police, when they stop you, you ask them, do you know who I am? Look, tomorrow you will not be in that car. And when you are not in that car, you'd like to be treated nicely. Treat people the way you'd like to be treated. When you are on the road, respect other road users.
Okay. I think that has really sunk in. When you're on the road, respect other road users. Now, Joe, let's talk about the new speed limits.
Yes.
The national speed limits.
Yes. So we have new speed limits. I mean, the people who I was talking about, the road safety advocates who have been in the trenches for a long time, they've been pushing for these speed limits to be revised for a long time. And finally, the government has done it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Minister of Works. Thank you, Parliament, for getting this one across the line. And now the challenge and the ball has been thrown into the hands of my friends, police.
Law enforcers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the speed limits, if I may break them down quickly, or if you may just break them down quickly for our viewers.
So what I know for now is that on national highways, the speed limit has been put at 80 kilometers per hour.
For all vehicles.
For all vehicles. And on the expressway, 100 kilometers.
We have one expressway. And it's been at 100.
Areas around schools, hospitals, 30 kilometers.
30 kilometers.
Built communities
now
like
that is down from 50.
Yes.
Yes.
Now built communities like Acacia Avenue, Lugogo Bypass, Kira Road, I think that is 40 kilometers. 50 kilometers per hour, yes.
Most of, if not all roads in Kampala, it will be down to 30.
Down to 30.
Now, this is from 50 kilometers per hour to 30. Now, why 30? These are congested areas, as we've been talking. I mean, we have hundreds and thousands of people walking in and out of the city. So they are pedestrians. So science has proved it. If a vehicle hits someone moving at 30, the impact is minimal. It's not the same as compared to if it hits you at 50. So that's one. Two, so that will bring down the number of, the fatalities that we've been experiencing. If the speed limit is followed and is enforced and followed.
And that's where the other problem
I was
comes
coming
from.
to that one. I was coming to that one. Then two, let's be realistic. With congested roads, 50 is impossible. This is a congested city.
Sure.
Driving at 50 is impossible.
Even the nature of the roads.
Even the nature of the roads, and to where you're rushing to. Manage your time. When the producer told me you need to be at UBC at 6:50, I had to wake up from my slumber in Chira to make sure I'm here on time without driving like a lunatic.
So you're my neighbor. So because if we talk about nature of roads, I know the nature of your road coming here.
Then two, on the highways, the 80. Look at our highways, the design and everything, even 80 is very fast. And if you thought people are just really also curtailing your speed and all that, let's flip it on the other side. When you are driving at 80, you use less fuel. You use less fuel compared to when you are driving at 100.
When you're driving at 30, you're using less fuel.
No, on the highway at 80.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so at 30 and 50, really the difference is minimal.
Okay.
And then we have areas like, okay, let me be a romantic. Even when you are driving at 80, Uganda is a beautiful country. When you are on the highway driving at 80, you get to take in more beauty of our country, of what nature gives us. Than when you are driving at 100, you're like, hey, come on, we are not in Fast and Furious. Life is not Fast and Furious.
And Fast and Furious is not true. Mr. Bayanga, your parting shots to Ugandans, call them to action to join the walk. Yes.
So the walk is flagging off on Monday next week, 24th Feb at the Independence Monument. If you are unable to join us, we will be walking for 340 kilometers plus, Kampala to Gulu, and as we've been sharing, raising awareness about road safety, telling you and me, and looking at what we can do to make our roads safe, to make sure everybody get back home safe. So if you can't join us on Monday, you can still join us, join a walker, support a walker, 100K per day. I shared my number with you, and if you did not get it,
you can share it.
0782 602061. Just send mobile money. It's registered in the names of Joseph Beyanga, not yet Joe Walker. And you can support a worker for a day. You can support a worker for the 10 days that will be on the road. That would be awesome. And then another way that you can join the cause is the way UBC has joined the cause. Make room. Each one of you, you have space, you have people, you have your circle of influence on your social media. Share the message of drive carefree. Share the message of road safety. Share the message about speed. It thrills, it kills. Share that message and let people be safe on the road. And then, thanks to the people who have already come in and supported the cause, Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, thank you very much. Renzori, thank you very much. Pride Bank, the guys of we used to know as Pride Microfinance, thank you very much. And our partners, Guru, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ugandans. Hey, look, guys, let's fear for each other. As we hit the road, let's fear for each other. As you walk, take care of each other. And if you are the guy at the Ministry of Works designing the road, design the road that is suitable and safe for every user, for the pedestrian, for the cyclist, for the motorist. And my friends at police, yes, somebody may come speeding and with a car overloaded. I've been seeing so many of them. I was in the countryside. But look, that 150K or whatever he gives you as a bribe, you are putting many people's lives at stake. So if you're the police officer, please enforce the law to the dot. Your responsibility is to protect and serve. Serve the people, make sure they get back home safe, get back home alive. Hey, we can protect lives. Let every life matter.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Beyanga. Joe Walker. Joe Walker is of the Joe Walker Foundation, and he will be working with many others a 340-kilometer journey from Kampala to Gulu to spread the gospel of road safety. Now, this one says, thank you for the show. Road safety, more awareness is needed. Our drivers are indisciplined on the roads, and especially in the Rwenzori sub-region. Safe driving, hashtag Uganda. And then Omgaga Saurembo in Nabweru, MP at Dako, Nansana Municipality, says Buliwoita Engudombinyo Abantu Bakaba. Thank you so much for your views. Thank you for being a part of this show. Now, the Uganda Police Force says that according to their reports, 14 people are killed every single day on our roads. You need to think on that as you hit the road this morning. Thank you. Joe.
Thank you.
Stick around.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Coming soon on UBC.
Are you ready to take your fitness journey to the next level? Join the Sweat Squad by Sion. Coming soon to UBC TV. With expert guidance, cutting-edge workouts, and a supportive community. You'll be unstoppable.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Welcome back from Valentine's, and for those of you that kept their relationships, congratulations. My name is Zakia Lucky, and thank you for being a part of the GMU Tourism Express. Good morning. I would like to start by welcoming you from our previous episode, which was food hygiene, and we are doing culinary tourism for those of you that didn't join us in the previous segment. But as of today, we are bringing to you another edition under culinary tourism, which is food presentation. But before we dive into that, I would like to start with the comments and engagement that we had in our previous topic. And by the way, thank you so much for watching us, engaging and advising and sharing your experiences with us. To start with, we received different comments on our X platforms. Mokisa Timothy K says street foods should remain as they are. Why? One, research is easily practiced. There will be an identity. For example, each street food hub is attractive in its own way or the other. Hygiene and sanitation are vital but shouldn't surpass the local levels because it will kill identity. Seranga Robert says food hygiene involves a lot of things to be considered, right from its raw form up to its end product, and that implies food handling at all stages is very critical and needs to be considered. Malka N says, as a nutritionist, I can say a lot of the street food on the streets leading us to the most beautiful places of this nation need to be touched up a bit in terms of hygiene. We enjoy the street gonja and roasted chicken, and their place of preparation being hygienic is a booster. Now let us know about your thoughts in the same line, and we see how to keep, this discussion going. Now when we get to food presentation, in my particular opinion, I have experienced this in restaurants that I have visited. When you walk into a restaurant and the first thing is a smile, then when you get to sit down, you make your order and how food is being presented. I mean, look at the area, look at some restaurants have plants. Actually, that is a plus. For restaurants that have plants that add that aura to the space, the soft music and that calm music, it's just all about food presentation. Like before you get this food served to you, you're already excited and the mood is changed. And some of us usually visit them, you've had a long day, you're from working. This is already a booster. But now when you get to sit and get your food served, how this food is packaged is very, very important, and that will actually determine if your client is coming back or not. So let's take this seriously. I can give a very live example of this food that was trending from one of the restaurants in Kampala. I think that was Middle East. I had a particular friend that traveled all the way from Bundibujo to come and taste this food. I had not tasted it before, but we decided to go together because I wanted to see what's special about this food. But guess what? Surprisingly, it's chicken that we've been eating everywhere, but how it was packaged in a pineapple, and not just this food being served in a pineapple, but I mean it's being served by the chef himself, not even the waitress, and how they brought it, smoke coming out, and the chef is doing his thing. I don't know what that was. Like everyone was so impressed, and people were pulling out their phones. That is a tip for you. You need to see how to spice things up this year in regarding how to keep your clients coming in. And of course the brand identity, because many people wanted to know which place is this and what is it that is in this food. But these are common foods that are being served everywhere. I mean, chicken is everywhere, rice can be packaged all over, but how are you presenting it on the table? Talking about rice, I also have an experience from home. I like how restaurants are packaging it these days. They present it on a plate, more like a circular form, but for me, I learned it from home. Yeah, I used to see my mom put this rice in a bowl, small bowl, and then pour it on the plate. And it made us always love to eat the rice because, I mean, it looked so good as young kids. You had to play around with the food, but by then we were kids. But I've seen it in restaurants today, and I'm like, wow, there are people that will keep traveling for that particular experience. Or some people visit your restaurants without the need to eat food, but when they look at how food has been served to another client, they're probably going to have the feel of, I need to taste that food, I need to try it out. And guess what? They'll keep coming and recommending. So let's mind how we package these foods, and let's talk about also the drinks. Food presentation is not about what you see before you, but also the stories behind these foods. Culture. what are they communicating? Some of them have stories behind it, and which makes it even more enticing. Some of these foods are there to you know, pay respect or hospitable and just create that incense around you. Food presentation is a key element in the overall dining experience and influencing the tourist's perspective of the destination's culture, without forgetting the impact of satisfaction to the client. You saw me walk around and picking salad, but the most important thing was these salads were labeled. So in that aspect, if you do not know what you're picking, you know at least the cucumber is right there, tomato salad is labeled, so you know what to pick. And when I got to my seat, I was offered a towel to clean my hands before I get started to eating, and then offered soup and bread. For those of you that eat a lot, I don't know how you manage this, but before the main course got to me, I was literally full already. And there's this interesting part. I got this card. I found this card and I was wondering, so what is this communicating? There's the green side and the red side. So the green side shows that if you need more food, you just flip on top and have the green side on the top. And if you don't need any more food, you just have to put the red side. This is interesting. That is what you need to do to spice up or entice your clients. And of course, when I sat, I saw the chef walk to me and present these foods. I had never seen a sausage being served in this manner. I don't know what tool that is, but it was more like a stick. And I had to pick with this. This is another tool that I also found here. I don't know what is being used in the other restaurants, but I had never seen that. And also the chicken, I just enjoyed the moment and wanted to keep snapping him as he brings these things. This is what you need to do to entice and make memories, because trust me, after here, I have a story to tell, because I've experienced this firsthand and for the very first time.
Good morning once again. Welcome back from GMU Tourism Express. Time for GMU Business. My name is Julie F. Nantaba Mosisi. And looking at what we have, the Uganda Intergovernmental Fiscal Transfers Microscale Irrigation Program in Nabilatuk District will address the erratic rainfall in the district. Nabilatuk District Senior Agriculture Engineer Saddam Kwemboy says the micro irrigation system program supports farmers in purchasing and using individual irrigation equipment. Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries has got support from World Bank through the Uganda Intergovernmental Fiscal Transfers Program to support farmers in Nabilatuk District to pay 25% of the irrigation equipment cost. Nabilatuk District held an awareness meeting on microscale irrigation program for farmers and district officials. So the co-payment, which is actually co-sharing aspect, remains a challenge, and only 6 farmers have completed payment. 2 demonstration sites have been established at Lolachat Primary School and Lolachat Secondary School, Nabilatuk District. And the district chairperson, Paul Local, advised farmers to venture into coffee farming to overcome poverty. Nabilatuk RDC Chair Eunice Nyonjo warned locals against vandalism. He advised farmers to sell cows and raise funds for the micro irrigation program. Nabilatuk leaders say that over 150 farmers are interested and expressed interest in the program. Farmers must have an existing water source within 700 meters of the garden, and that the program targets farmlands of up to 2.5 acres. Isbat University is championing the cause of empowering the youth in technology and innovation. Now, while opening the Isbat Innovation Day yesterday, the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation Managing Director Winston Agaba called for embracing government-backed innovation hubs to enhance product quality and competitiveness. As the world strives to become more competitive through technology, the importance of innovation and the implementation of best learning practices has been reinforced to meet global trends and demands. However, empowering lives without maximum support from the government hinders development, and this was said by the chairman of the board of directors at Isbat University, Dr. Muhammadan Vagiz. While presiding over the Isbat University Innovation Day, the UBC Managing Director Winston Agaba emphasized the need to embrace government-supported innovation hubs to improve the quality of innovation. Agaba went on ahead to advise innovative youths, especially those from remote areas, to utilize government offices to secure the support they need to make their dreams a reality. And the Vice Chancellor of Isbat University, Dr. K.M. Matthew, emphasized that qualifications in creative thinking are essential in shaping the future of technology. Isbat University's Innovation Day was under the theme Empowering Innovation, Shaping the Future. All right, moving on to matters communication. Government pilot community radios to replace outlawed outdoor megaphones. Like we might remember, in 2017, the government put a ban on megaphones, but at least is on a plan to make sure that in order to replace megaphones and ensure community communication, local community communication, there will be community radios. Now, this comes at a point where if we look at the programming of community megaphones, the community Obizindalo radios, they consist of local announcements, lost or found property, lost children, market information, adverts, talk shows, sermons, community mobilization, local employment opportunities, education and health information. But the government has ruled out the possibility of lifting the suspension on use of community outdoor megaphones, but a pilot project for community radios is underway to facilitate communication and mobilization programs in affected communities. So under the Uganda Communications Commission laws guided by the Uganda Communication Act 2013 that regulates the communication sector and the Uganda Communications Equipment Type Approval Regulations 2029, the outdoor megaphones are among the illegal equipment interfering with communications network, and a pilot scheme for community radios that have special frequency and regulated radius for airwaves operations is in pipeline. Then this is according to UCC ED Honorable George William Nyombi Tembo. He went on ahead to say that we have come with a solution to the challenge resulting from the illegal communication equipment, and that includes the outdoor megaphones Bizindalo. And Chibuga district has been selected as the pilot area for the community radios to replace megaphones, which started on the 15th of February 2025. Now, to guard against frequency interference for the already established airwaves, UCC will deploy technology that ensures the radius of operation is limited to specific areas, while persons entrusted with the operations will be trained and licensed by UCC. This is in line with the communications and broadcasting guidelines that protect the public unregulated sound, or something that you would call noise pollution, misinformation and disinformation arising from unregulated broadcasting equipment. All right, looking at what the forex rates look like as of yesterday, 17th February 2025, The US dollar opened at 3,673.73 at buying and sold at 3,683.73 at selling. And by midday, the US dollar was at 3,673.77, buying and selling at 3,683.77 selling. And it closed with 3,673.55, buying and selling at 3,683.55. Looking at the pound, 4,624.6 at buying and selling at 4,636.85. And the euro closed in while selling at 3,853.18. Sorry, while buying at 3,853.18 and sold at 3,863.67. The Kenyan shilling was buying at 28.40 and sold at 28.47. The Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.42 and selling at 1.42. And the South African rand was buying at 200.15 and selling at 200.70. That's a quick look at business, GMU business today. GMU continues. Good morning, Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000 or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Coming soon on UBC.
Are you ready to take your fitness journey to the next level? Join the Sweat Squad by Sion. Coming soon to UBC TV. With expert guidance, cutting-edge workouts, and a supportive community. You'll be unstoppable.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Juko.
Yo.
Wachikuwa. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model, PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. But what you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The Parish Development Model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Welcome to Good Morning Uganda, your go-to morning show to kickstart your day with all the latest updates.
Let's dive deep into issues that matter most to you.
In a world of stories waiting to be told, the headlines are your guide. Navigate the currents of news and knowledge with our daily updates of newspapers. Stay informed, stay empowered.
From the roar of the crowd to the thunder of victory, witness the drama unfold with our sports updates. Whether on the field or in the stands, join us as we celebrate the spirit of champions.
Rise with Good Morning Uganda, weekdays from 6:30 a.m.
Nsooka okwebaza omukulembeze w'eggwanga okututeekateeka. Twali tetunnaba kuteekebwateekebwa, twafuna okusoomoozebwa nga kungi nnyo. Omuli okutukwata abasirikale, olumu nga tetulina na kitukoze. Kale nga n'akasente k'oba osonzeewo ggwe nga ggwe akagenda okukuyambako mu bizibu byo, nga weekanga okawadde abasirikale. Naye okuva ffe ghetto structure we yayimirirawo ebintu bingi byakyuka. Abaana baffe tebakyabakwata nnyo okuggyako abo abamenyi b'amateeka. Ne be bakutte nga babakwatidde mu ghetto nga ekikwekweto kibadde kiyise. Nabo tulina omukisa ogugenda okubajjayo. Abasirikale batuwulira. Abasirikale batuwulira. Toyinza kugenda ku poliisi n'ogamba DPC nti bakutte omwana wange ng'akumanyi nti oli komanda. N'atateekayo nnyo maanyi kukola ki? Kumujjayo. Ne neebaza bakama baffe Jeno Damulira, Afande Kuteesa, nange tweyanziza nnyo mukoze ky'amaanyi, bo bakoze ky'amaanyi nnyo tuteekateeka. Kuba bwe twamala okuyingira ghetto structure ne batuteekerawo ne sako ne certificate twazifuna. Kati batteekerawo sako eyo, era muzeeyi n'amala n'atuukiriza kye yatugamba n'atuteekeramu ssente. Era kati eno essaawa gye tuliko tuwola abaana, tuwola baghetto youth ababadde balina bizinesi zaabwe naye nga zibulamu ebyokkola. Tugenda tubawa okutwaliza wamu katuli bulungi, tetuli bubi nnyo, era twebaliza ddala President Museveni okutukolera ekintu ekyo kuba mu butuufu twali.
The circle started 5 years back with 15 members who were part of the executive, and we managed to use the same 15 members to mobilize the youth and come in to make the 16 associations. So each member took a thought of gathering, mobilizing the 15 people to make associations. So the circle was established. We happened to have 229 members that qualified for 30 millions, which we got in 2021. We used the 30 millions from the presidential initiative to buy the 6 motorcycles, which was a small number to benefit the 229 members, but we managed to use it. The 6 border helped us to go under saving culture. We managed to group our members into 15-15 for saving culture. So the saving culture is 15 groups. They could get 12,000 per day, which 12,000 at the end of the month manages to buy 1 motorcycle. That 1 motorcycle is shared among the 15, so they vote who to take it. The 15 kept on until the 15 months. Every member had to get 1 motorcycle with saving culture. As I say, we managed to get 84 motorcycles from today's report. On daily, a rider, you move Kawempe, Nakawaru, Makinde, you Kampala Metropolitan, and at the end of the day, you have 50,000. That one, we call it average day. There is a time you make 100, that is, we call it the golden day. So most of our members came without anything to use or to support their family. So we helped them by giving them the border as one of the job opportunity the circle is offering to the community.
Tuso kwebaza President Museveni olw'enkola eno gyatutereddewo otukulaakulanya nga najja wano mu ssaka eno nga sirina piki era ndi omu ku bammemba abaasooka okufuna piki. Kati abavubuka abali bateesobola kugula piki wano kiba kyangu. Ogula buguzi migabo $5,000 ng'ofuna piki ng'otandika obulamu. Ate ku layisi tuli bangi. Kuba omuntu tolina $5 million zigula mpya 5 kitundu. Oba oguze emigabo ate nga gijjo n'otandikira okwo. Tolaba nti oba ofunyemu abantu abali batalina mirimu bagifuna. Wabwe guno mulimu nno gwennyini tugufunyemu singa simaanyi ga mulimu guno kitegeeza nandibadde sikola ki sina ngeri kigenza buli kwasaganya abaana abasoma era muki okulya byonna bakwesanyusaamu era kiki era ngutwalanga ensonga enkulu kubanga ufunamu gubinkolera goge mazima gubinkolera ddala bulungi mukadde tajjula maama gwe nninawo yekka oba oli awo akasimu ante kino bakiri mugira nga noteekayo n'omusindika ante kino egamba tosobola kulwamu ki sente.
Ebyenfuna byange byali bibi ddala naye mu bbanga ery'emyezi 9 wenfunidde piki ayo obulamu bwakyukira ddala kubanga siganye nakati nkyapangisa naye luli eri nga landiroodi yako netutandika nga odduka nosanga nga basiirinze nawo naye kati nsobola omusasula nina omukyala n'abaana bendabirira nsobola okubaliisa bulungi nnyo nga embeera etambula era njagala okwebaza omukulembeze w'eggwanga otujjukira nga ffe abavubuka n'atuleetera pulojekiti eno ey'emyoga kuba ne mami wange saazina neenyumirizaamu kuba akubira akasimu n'omuweerezaayo omutwalo oba 2 kuba oba ozirina. Njagala otwala omukisa guno okwebaza omukulembeze w'eggwanga olw'okutulowoozaako nga ffe abavubuka n'atuleetera pulojekiti y'emyoga ne tutandika okufuna ku mirimu ne tufuna ebyokukola. Twabeerangawo nga tulina byakukola tutambula butambuzi nakuzzabuza misango naye kati okuva pulojekiti y'emyoga we yajja kati tukola era sente zaffe tuzirabako era olw'okuba nti nasiima nze ng'omuntu nasalawo n'ekifaananyi kya President Museveni kitambuze mu Kampala yonna mwenkolera okubalaga nti President Museveni yantuusizza ku kino kuba nenkolera sente zange era nzifuna era nzirabako.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, Uganda's education system has experienced a shift, and this is very significant when you look at the introduction of a new grading system. And this system, according to the Uganda National Examinations Board, is supposed to work in tandem with the competence-based curriculum that we have at O-level. Now, O-level had their first cycle of examinations under the new competence-based curriculum that was rolled out in 2020, and when the results returned a couple of days ago, actually more than a week ago, when the results returned, parents were a bit confused. Now, the learners apparently knew how the grading system was going to be, but it was hard for them to explain the grading to the parents, and the parents were finding it hard to understand. Now, the new grading system is a transition that has raised concerns among students, parents, and even educators about interpretation, implementation, and its impact on future education and career pathways. Which brings us to our conversation for today. We are trying to explore and understand the new grading system, and I'll be speaking to Jennifer Kalule Mosamba, who is the Public Relations Officer at the Uganda National Examinations Board. Good morning. Welcome.
Thank you.
Looking nice in green.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. A very good morning to all our viewers there. A very good morning to all our parents, to all the candidates, and to all our stakeholders out there. A very good morning, everyone.
All right. Now, today we break down the new grading system, its rationale, challenges, and what it means for Uganda's education sector. And we are getting into that conversation right about now. Now, if you want to join the conversation, if you want to ask some questions or get some clarification regarding the same, the number is on your screen. It is 0709-602-592. Send in your inquiries, your questions. We are here to make sure that you understand the grading system, but also that you understand so that you can help your child in choosing a combination for A-level and whether or not for them to transition into vocational school, because there is that option as well. So first of all, Jennifer, what prompted you, NEB, to go from the traditional grading system we've known? Someone yesterday was telling me that the traditional one we are used to, I think you and I went through the same system, has been here for about 40 to 50 years, the one of distinctions 1, 2, 3, and 4. So rather distinctions 1 and 2, and then credit 3, credit 4, credit 5, and credit 6, and then first grade, second grade, to mention, and the like. So what prompted you to go from that grading system onto the new grading system where we have A, B, C, D, E, and then result 1, result 2? But let's start with the A, B, C, D.
No, before we get to the A, B, C, D,
yes.
First of all, I'm so glad that as a nation we are having this conversation, because that means that we are all ready for this shift. Because in 2020, the government, through the Ministry of Education and the National Curriculum Development Center, did introduce a new curriculum, which is a competence-based curriculum, and because it was new, we've been calling it the new lower secondary curriculum. Reason being, it was being implemented at lower secondary school level, and it's a new curriculum moving. This was a shift from the old curriculum to the new curriculum, and this was a shift to competence based as opposed to content as in trying to memorize content. So that meant that even the assessment had to change. So as a board, we also had to change the assessment, and whatever changes we had to make, everything was prescribed in the curriculum by the National Curriculum Development Center. So this is the genesis of the change in the grading, and by the grace of God, remember we had a COVID year, so we had a dead year somewhere. Much it was 2020. Our first learners, the first cohort of learners under the new curriculum, did sit their examinations in 2024, and were able to assess them, and then the minister was able to release the results on the 11th of on the 11th. So it's been quite a great journey, and for us it was celebrations because nobody knew where we were going. We didn't know what was going to happen, but NCDC, National Curriculum Development Center, had put out parameters. It's like the Bible, the new curriculum. Even the assessment framework had been, okay, UNEP had to work with National Curriculum Development Center and then Ministry of Education to develop the assessment framework at the various levels. And under the new curriculum, to first give this background so people get to understand where we are coming from.
That's all right.
So under the new curriculum, we have two aspects of assessment. Remember, it's about assessing competencies, and you are assessing the abilities of the learners to be able to apply the knowledge and the skills acquired practically in a community, in a society, in a real life situation, as opposed to just memorizing content and you're told, where is UBC? And you're like, UBC, well, it's Nile Avenue. You just know that Nile Avenue. And if somebody tweaks it a little bit, and what's the importance? Why is it beneficial? What do I need to know where UBC is anyway? Why? And then you're like, you have Parliament here, you have UBC there, you have National Theatre there. So a learner has got to work out and say, okay, fine. How is this beneficial? What is the importance of this? Of this kind of setting? What can I get out of it? Or in case there was a problem, how do I get the problem solved? So the learners of the new curriculum have been trained to be problem solvers. They are critical thinkers, they are creative, they are innovative, they think outside the box. They do their own research. Position them in a forest and they will survive. If you have a child who is from S1 to S4, you will see they are very proactive. They are very energetic. They think critically, and they analyze situations, and they are very critical. Actually, they'll challenge you. And even us as adults, as parents, have got to adjust to their needs, because they are, it's a dynamic, it's a changing world. And even us, as we're setting exams this year, every year we have a theme. And this year our theme was about, assessing learners in a dynamic environment, holistic assessment. So when the curriculum changed, the assessment also had to change to get into assess learners holistically. You are assessing the content, fine, but how are they able to use this content in normal life, in real life situations, to solve problems, to address challenges, to create, to be innovative and create something that's going to be beneficial in their own setup. And a key component about this curriculum, and therefore also the assessment, is what we call continuous assessment. So under this new curriculum, the learners have got to be assessed at school level. They've been assessed fine, but then we had like our times. UNEB would assess you 100%. So you are judged by just in those 2.5 hours.
Yes.
You are either failure or you have passed.
Yet the learner could probably have been performing to the best of their ability in the, let's say, in the 4 years, and probably something happened. Maybe they got sick, maybe they lost a loved one. Many circumstances happen, and the learners don't perform as well as they have been performing across the board.
Yes. So according to the new curriculum, we see they are like, no, it is not fair to assess people within just 2.5 hours or the final end of cycle examination. Can we have them being assessed at schools, and can this contribute to their final, to their final grade? So 20% is assessed at school, and then there's also the project aspect. So the continuous assessment is assessed right from senior 1 to senior 2. However, UNEB takes that is now for many for training and then enabling them to cope up. And then from senior 3 to senior 4, UNEB starts receiving the scores of these learners. And this includes, the activities of integration which they've been doing for every subject. This is what they call an activity of integration. They're looking at the communication skills. They're looking at the team building aspects. They're looking at how you are able to use the mathematical concepts. They're looking at how you are able to solve a problem using X, Y, Z in every subject. And then UNEB, working with NCDC, developed an assessment framework for the continuous assessment. So they keep on giving us scores from S3 first term, S3 second term, S3 third term, until senior 4. So right now we have been receiving scores for the current senior 4s for the third term, their S3 third term. So 20% of the learner, 20% of the final grade is from the continuous assessment. Then we have a project, which is a stand-alone. A land is supposed to come up with a project, get a title, get and there's a framework still, and tell us why that title, justify the title, what problem are you going to solve, what are the resources you're going to use. So basically the way you go into project management. So by the end of senior 4, our learners should be able to solve problems, but they should also be able to, to do project management really, and manage a project on their own, in their own simple environment really. The thing that they can be able to do at their own level, but they are getting the concept. That is the critical thing. So now at the end of cycle, UNEB, now UNEB is going to, what UNEB is assessing is out of 80%. So it's such that in case you got, let's say, 15 out of 20 in the continuous assessment, and at the end of cycle, you get, let's say, 60 out of 80. We are going to add 15 plus 8 plus 60, then you end up getting 75%. So that what you are going to get is a combination of what you had for continuous assessment and also for the end of cycle. Now this 75% is going to put on a grade, which is an internal grading system. There's what we call awards, and this changes for every other year, depending on the performance of the learners. So there's a committee, a technical committee that comprises of UNEB, the subject experts. It comprises of the examiners, National Curriculum Development Center, the Ministry of Education, policy makers, and then also the Directorate of Standards. The Directorate of, they monitor the standards of the sector. So they do come up with a grading, depending. So you may find that 75 maybe is going to fall in A or B or whatever as the case may be. So even in the old system, we never used to know what D1 or D2 was. We just see D1, D2, D3. But
Really?
Yes, because it changes every other time. So now that is how the grading came about, and the whole idea was true because under the competence-based assessment, we don't assess learners by comparing them. It's an individual learner. You assess me by what I am able to do. What are my abilities? Jennifer is able to, when Jennifer came in senior 1, she was able to talk to 2 or 3 people. And by senior 3, she's able to address maybe an assembly. By senior 4, she's able to even talk on radio. She's able to address a rally. She's able, even if it's about addressing maybe just 10 people, something. So it is Jennifer and not you. You are assessing an individual on their own abilities. That is the whole idea about the competence-based assessment. And I hear people trying to say, now people who have been getting X, Y, Z. Now for every subject, we are giving you the letter grades. So in mathematics, maybe you have A, and then in biology, you have B, then in chemistry, you have B, and in history, you have C, you have D, you have all those. So if it gets to the point of getting an accommodation, for instance, or what is first of all bothering people first and foremost. So according to the grading system has been established, if you have a minimum, first of all, these levels of grading, we have A stands for extraordinary. Extraordinary is that kind of person who has gone beyond. Let's say our parameter, because we set like a benchmark. This is where we want to go. We want everyone to jump 5 meters. So Jennifer is able to jump 4.8. That is extraordinary. So Jennifer is going to get A because she's able to jump 4.8. Next person is able to jump, let's say, up to 4. That's outstanding, really good. That's good enough. Outstanding is really very good. Outstanding is a high level of competency. Outstanding is a high level of competence.
Like when you're running a marathon that, like the one that Kiplimo won recently, he ran, I think it was 56 minutes, thereabouts, either 56 or 57. But you were expected to run an hour. But you're like, this is exceptional.
Exceptional. Okay. That is really exceptional. Now, somebody who has run, let's say, for 45, that is an outstanding as well. Yes. They have not failed. That is outstanding. Somebody runs for 30. You're like, well, that is satisfactory. That is really satisfactory. It's adequate. It's adequate level. They are able. No, they have potential. They are good enough. Actually, 30 is really what is satisfactory. Then they've run for 25. 25. That is basic. Minimum, the basic minimum real. Out of the 60, 25, that is the basic minimum. they are good enough. They are good enough, and they are good to go. They can go on to the next level. And then 20 is slightly below the minimum. However, they have achieved something.
They have tried,
and they have not failed. Unlike before, whereby you'll be given an F9 and you're like, you have failed. You have been in school for the last 4 years. Your parents have been paying school fees for the last 4 years, and your neighbor comes in at the end of it all and tells you, you have failed.
You are a failure.
You are a failure. You don't know what that does to the self-esteem of the young people. That is a very tender age. People still they want to be energized, they want to be motivated, they want to be encouraged, they want to be told, yes, you can, you are able to do it. Yes, you are below the basic minimum, but you are still able to do it. You have not failed. You have competencies in X, Y, Z. You are a good math. You are a good speaker. You can develop. You have a talent in speaking. You can develop a good. You can develop that skill of communication.
So where your math skills are lacking, we will not say you failed, because at the end of the day you have other abilities.
Thank you very much.
You can, I remember, if I may use myself as an example, I was a highly I was really good at English and literature and English, history, and then I had trouble in sciences. But given the old way of marking, I would be a failure in mathematics. And then
especially if you got a 9.
Exactly, if you got a 9. And then if I didn't get, even Jennifer, look at it this way, even where you have a D1 and you have maybe a credit 6 or a pass 8, as a student, you still feel like
I'm not good enough.
I'm not good enough. Yes,
because so and so got so and so, and that is why this system now, the new curriculum, is rolled out the idea of comparison. Let each learner be assessed on their own individual merit. The concept of individual merit comes in. Because I have failed mathematics doesn't mean I am a failure. I have some competencies that can still be promoted. You are able to assess me continuously and help me develop these skills. Help me develop something according to the passions and according to the abilities that I am able to, according to my personal abilities, without necessarily comparing me. And that is where we are coming from. So that is why we have a whole range of result 1. Result 1 is anyone who has been able to acquire at least the basic minimum in one of the subjects. Out of the 8 subjects, if you have the minimum, which is D, and you have a minimum in at least one subject, we are saying that is good enough.
Jennifer, I'm not understanding that. Please explain it further.
Okay, after we have seen that Jennifer has got A in mathematics, B in chemistry, and has got D in literature and English and all that, because the letter grading is per subject.
Yes.
So we get to know where you have what you have in every subject. This is the combination of the continuous assessment scores and the end of cycle scores by UNEB.
Okay.
And then the project, which is a standalone, it's also a letter grade. You can receive A, B, C, or D accordingly. That is a standalone. Now, after that, we are going to give you, on your transcript, there's got to be a grade. Where do you fall? So everybody who registers for the examination, by the way, will receive a transcript. For as long as you register for the UNEB examination, you're going to receive a transcript, which is the replacement of a result slip, that small little thing.
The pass slip.
Yeah, the pass slip. So now it's going to be a transcript. And the transcript is where you're going to have the details. Of course, it's going to have your biodata.
Like a university transcript.
All your details. And then that's when you're going to show that you are in result 1. Then that's where we have the categories now. You have this grading, but then the categories of the results. So we have result 1, whereby everybody who has at least the bare minimum of D in any one of the subjects taken, 1 out of 9, even if you got D and E, you are good enough and you are in result 1. And you have received your A. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
So Jennifer, let me try to understand this. If I have, because I saw on the front pages of some newspapers where they had these students that had A, and then maybe A, maybe BB, maybe A, then DD, maybe A, B, D, 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 D,
That's great.
C. So all of those ones.
They're all in result 1.
They are in result 1.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. And they all qualify to get both a transcript and a certificate.
Okay.
So everybody will get a transcript, but not everybody will get a certificate.
What's the difference?
The certificate is that certified document that says no that you've been able to get there. The transcript just shows that you are able to attain and these are your results. Now the certificate is that one which is really treasured. It is that a certified copy that shows this. Now you certify and you are outstanding. You are outstanding. Your grade. You are certificate. Just like any other certificate, it's that valued document.
So, of what value? I understand certificate is valued, but help the viewer understand where a certificate may benefit the learner and where the one that only has a transcript may not be benefited. Yes.
Okay, the certificate, first of all, one who doesn't have a certificate may not go on to the next level. Like for instance, the one who has received only E's and they do not have the bare minimum of D, they will not receive a certificate. And in a formal recommendation, we recommend such a person may repeat if they are able to, or they can be able to go to the vocation. I'm not yet sure what they're going to take them. They are good enough, but we still feel that they need to add in more. They need to get more. They need to give it another try.
Okay.
So
those are in which result? Those ones are in which result?
Now, those ones who will not receive a certificate are the ones who are, first of all, they are in result 2 and result 3. Now, result 2 has people who do not fulfill all the requirements for the board. For instance, for getting a certificate, for instance, you may find that we are saying that the minimum number of subjects are 8 subjects. But for some reason, somebody, God forbid, falls sick and they only assist out of 7 subjects, 7 out of 8 subjects. They won't get a certificate, but they'll get a transcript to show that they did 7 out of the 8 subjects. Or somebody may claim to be or may register for subjects for SNE, for instance, for the special needs, like for the science subjects, and they do not qualify. So once we establish that, you will not get a certificate. Or the worst bit of it, if somebody does not submit their scores for continuous assessment or their scores for the project, they will not receive a certificate.
Okay.
But we shall give them a transcript and tell them this is what they did. However, we do not get scores for continuous assessment, so we are not giving you a certificate, but you have a transcript to show you actually attended and this is what you did. And then those who register for the examinations but do not actually sit for the examination. We're also going to give them a result. We shall give them still a transcript because we have to account for the learners and say...
The transcript won't have anything.
They may have their continuous assessment scores, maybe. Okay. Yeah, they would have their CS scores. And sure, yeah, by the age, much as I don't have this, but I was able to do a project in broadcasting concepts or whatever. I was able to do a local radio something concept or something, a project on local radio production or something to that effect. So we shall still give them a transcript and account for those learners and also encourage them. But by the way, you have these continuous assessment scores. The other thing about the repeating, in case you want to repeat, your NAB already has your continuous assessment scores. So you do not have to go back to senior 3. Just repeat the senior 4 the way it has been. Okay. Just go back to senior 4. And I know I've had some certain school of thought saying maybe the learners would simply repeat the subject they've been, they failed or something like that. Is a policy issue. I don't know where it is going to end. But what we are saying, just like we've been doing repeating just at senior 4 level, if somebody wishes, you do not have to go back to senior 3 simply because of continuous assessment scores. We already have your scores because we use the PLE result SIP to enter their CS scores. So you just need to give us the CS score, to give us your PLE result SIP, and you will be able to, we shall be able to retrieve your scores. Okay. Just same thing which I've been saying, if somebody wants to change a school in senior 4, can I change a school? Yes, you can change a school in senior 4. Just make sure that the old school has submitted the scores of senior 3 to your name. And then thereafter, at senior 4, the new school takes you up, and you are able to track your continuous your CS scores.
Okay, wow. This is very enlightening, and I'm getting to have a clear understanding of the new grading system at UNEB. Now, if you're just joining the conversation, I'm having this conversation with Jennifer Kale Musamba, who is the Public Relations Officer for the Uganda National Examinations Board. She's gone to high lengths to help us understand the grading system at Senior 4 that was used, because many parents were confused. I still have many questions regarding the same. And please keep your views coming through. I see some coming through. On WhatsApp number is 0709 602-592. Keep bringing in the questions. Now, Jennifer, let's back up a bit. You did mention that maybe for reasons and for dire circumstances, reasons unprepared for, someone ends up sitting for 7 papers out of the 9. So what if that person actually passes all the 7 papers? They get maybe an A, B, C, but to D, they don't even get an E. Do they have to repeat?
Well, now that is up to them. They are going to have the transcript, and they're going to have the transcript, and then it depends, because for instance, if you want my my potential at UBC, and I've done literature, I've done literature in Uganda, I've done literature in English, I've done entrepreneurship, I have what it takes. So, and at grading, because when they are trying to do the what is it called, determining whether somebody is going to do this combination or something, there's going to be weighting, like putting a weight to this grade. Like if you're going to do this combination, then you're going to need to do, let's say if you're going to do, you're looking at, because at this point in time, this is something we've been doing at USCE, whereby we're looking at guiding the learners to do combinations according to their career path. And now we are saying we want to begin it at this level. Can we look at the abilities of this learner? Can we look at their passions? Can we look at their performance in terms of memorizing, but also in terms of applying the knowledge and abilities and skills acquired to real life situations? So you may find that somehow I pass the sciences, but my passion is in the arts. My passion is in food and nutrition. My passion is in communication. Then you guide me to do a combination. So we are also going to be having a weight whereby the Minister of Education is going to guide, and the NCDC guide UNEB, and then UNEB is going to provide a framework like they always do for USCE. Like if somebody is going to university, if you're going to do mass communication, you always know mass communication, you need to have history, literature, and economics. That's how it has been. So you want to do, if you want to do a LAKE or MAKE or PEM or PCM, these are the parameters. You must have gotten maybe A, B, C or something in physics, C, must have gotten B in literature or B in this kind of thing. So there's going to be a weighting system. The weight has been for USCE, and then they're going to guide. So you're going to look at how did the learner perform in these subjects, but also what are their passions. We want to promote the passions of the learners instead of just pushing us. Nowadays, people will be pushed to do science just because their parents want them to be lawyers or doctors or something.
Engineers.
Somebody studies and says, "Mama, here is your degree. Let me go and do my passion."
Let me go and
my
do
passion
my,
is in is in music.
MDD.
My passion is in communication. So you find years wasted and them doing something just for the sake of doing it. And now we are saying, let us now just guide them and say, you have abilities here and your passion is here. So maybe let's do XYZ to help you get to your career path.
Okay. Still, I'm sorry, I'm still asking more questions regarding. So, now I have EEE, maybe DDD somewhere. You say that is still result one.
You passed.
Okay. Now, going back to the people that may have passed some the subjects they sat, but they didn't sit the entire
all the nine subjects.
Yes. You say they don't get a certificate, but if they have passed, can they be admitted to A level?
Can they be admitted to A level when they don't have a certificate? According to the guidelines so far, if you do not have a certificate, then you do not, because if you don't have a certificate, then you do not qualify to go to another level. You don't qualify.
You don't qualify for Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education, but you can be advised to join a vocational institute.
Yes,
I wanted us to have that out of the way, because many parents were also stuck on that. Now, moving on, let's look at the continuous assessments and end of cycle examinations. How are they weighted in determining a student's final grade?
We do it directly. So like I said, in case you have 15 out of 20, because continuous assessment, which is school-based, is out of 20. So if you have 15%, or rather 15 out of 20 in our, because they keep submitting the scores, and then there is a system that's going to do the computation. So some people are worried about the validity of the scores from the school, the continuous assessment. They are worried about the validity. And you're like, no, you do not have to worry about that, because there's a framework, and the schools just do submit the scores. They submit the scores to UNEB, and then there is, at the end of the day, there's a system of how it is computed. So we get to know out of the 2 years what you have out of 20. So if you have 15 out of 20, and the final examination is scored out of 80, and you get 60 out of 80, then you shall add the 60 to the 15, then you have 75%. Now, whether 75% is going to be A or B or C or D, that is, I know where that is where the contention is.
Yes.
What does A mean? Is A 90%? Is A 99%? Is A 85%? Even in the old system, we used to get D1, D2, C5.
We would have an idea.
You'd have an idea.
Mrs. Musamba. How? You would know, because they would put, let's say, 80, and then they say D1. And then you're like, eh, banange. D2. And then you're like, eh, banange. This time round, the D2 is quite high.
How did you used to know that?
Well, no, okay, at school we would know, but at UNEB we wouldn't know, but we would hear, would hear that UNEB has, you know how we used to joke about the marking guide, that UNEB determines and says this year the D1 is at maybe 85 and the D2 is starting at 75. That's what we used to be told, at least by our teachers. So now the parents are asking, what is the determinant of an A? What is the determinant of an B in terms of numbers? And that is the question UNEB has been saying. It's not the same. It's very confusing in as much as you've tried your best to help us understand. I've understood, and I believe some parents have understood, but yes.
Yeah, okay, like I've said, even like it was before, the determinant, there is, after all the marking and everything has been put together, we have a technical committee that comes together and looks at, and they do an analysis of the performance of the scores and whatnot, and then they come up with this other grading. So it is something that is determined, we call it awards. So we have an awards program whereby the technical committee from NCDC, Ministry, DES, and UNEB, they sit together and then determine, depending on the performance that year. So it's not like a standard mark that is ever D1 or A has got to be at 99 and then 95 and then all that. No, it changes. But also it has to be comparable and saying last year how was the performance. So because remember we have what we call standard, and we are performing, we are scoring the learner against a certain benchmark. We are saying this is our benchmark for A, this is our benchmark for B, this is our benchmark for C. However, this is something that varies according to the performance of the learners. But what you don't have to worry about is that when they're going to be giving trying to allocate the combinations, they're going to then UNEB is going to work together with NCDC and the ministry to guide and say this is now what we call weighting. They're going to weigh every score. They're going to weigh and provide guidance in terms of combination allocation for the different learners. Who is going to do which combination? What weight should each subject have in terms of the scores that they received at that level?
Okay. Now, I have some views, Madam Jennifer, and one is from Mukisa Alan. He says, good morning. I'm Mukisa Alan from Chengera. Town Council. I'm asking Madame Kaule, some parents, we never went to school, but we are trying to educate our children, but we don't know what the new revised curriculum means. I think you've gone to great lengths to explain this, but probably in a few seconds you can answer that question. And the next question is, thanks for the program. I'm from Arua. I would like to know how those who fail to make it through in senior 4 last year do it again. I think he's asking about those who are supposed to repeat in the event that they did not get a certificate. Then there is, this one says, good morning, presenter and your guest in studio. I like the new UCE curriculum because it prepares students how to do research when they enter university. However, my question is about equating results from foreign countries. How does UNEB determine equating results? Secondly, why does UNEB use third-party middlemen in this process? Those are 3 questions. I think we can start with those, but briefly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't heard of the third party, but now let me start with you. Let me start with the agreement. That's very good information. That's very good feedback.
Okay.
Okay. So to start with, how who has failed? In case somebody has failed, if somebody has failed, we are saying that it's okay to repeat. You can, if somebody thinks they want to improve, because we said there's no failing in this new curriculum. However, if somebody is below the minimum, they can choose to repeat to improve their grade. So you are free to go back to senior 4 and repeat, because we already have your scores for continuous assessment for senior 3. You do not have to go back to senior 3. So you can only go to senior 4, find in school, and you should be able to repeat whatever, as it has always been. And then kind of the grading and the weighing. It's the same thing for you, SCA. We are giving you, we are saying history you got A, economics you got B, and literature you got C.
Now, saying that, hold that thought. Fred Karazare says, good morning, moderator and Madam Jennifer. I'm called Fred and would like to get clarification on what, for example, score A is in terms of points, because in senior 6, we have A, which represents 6 points, and so on and so forth. So, are you saying that the A, the B, the C, the D we have at O level is one and the same with the A's and the scores we get at A level? Because at A level, they're equated to numbers.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Now this one is going to be equated still according to the subject, according to the paper combinations, and this is something that is going to come out at the point of selection. So I think after selection, then you'll be able to understand what A, B, C, what the weighting. That's where the weighting is going to be done at the point of selection. And since you're going to be doing this for the very first time, let's just all be waiting. So the selection is going to take place, and there's going to be the waiting. That is where the waiting actually has been done. That's where the waiting is done, not at the level of your name. So it's done at that point of selection.
Okay. Now the next question is about the abridged curriculum.
Before we get there, I still have questions here.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Let me first finish here. Yeah, so we have the repeaters. I think I've said repeaters. You are free to go back to senior 4 and repeat just so it's been. Those who failed can be able to repeat. You see in results. I think it's more or less the same thing that we've talked about.
Yes.
Let me talk about the equating. Equating of foreign qualifications is done by UNEB, and equating, we do equate the equivalent of primary, equivalent of P7, senior 4, and senior 6. Those who have to do equating for political purposes are done from National Council for Higher Education. Now, in case somebody, what equating means, in case somebody did study maybe international curriculum, or you did study from another country outside Uganda, and you are coming, let's say, to join university, or to join senior 5. So we are going to get your results. There's a process, it's an online process actually. You go to our website, you go to UNEB e-services, go to equating of results, and then fill in, you submit your documents. Then our team will be able to guide you. And that is where I don't want to hear anybody talking about third party. Nobody should bully you into helping you to do your equating. Please get onto our website, uneb.ac.ug. Go to e-services, go to equating of foreign qualifications, just say equating of results, and you will be able to get there. You will download the document, fill in the requirements, fill in the documents, you will submit. Our teams are going to do the assessment, and they will get back to you, and you'll be told to make a payment after you are sure that you have all the documents. And for East Africa, it is 200,000. Outside East Africa, 250. So if you did study from East African countries, you will pay 200,000. Outside East Africa, it is 250,000. You don't need to have a third party for you to do your equating. And we want to encourage people, parents who have learners joining our systems, please do equate before the child begins senior 1 or senior 4 or senior 5. Because they usually come at the time of registration, and at times it's kind of there's something missing, this and that. So, and the school should also should first ensure that somebody has got a code, an equated code from your name before they can be able to bring the learners on board. So you don't need a third party to do equating. Same thing with verification of results. In case you have lost your document, your P7 result slip, senior 4 result slip, or senior 6 result slip, and it's lost, or you want to have it verified, or what they call, or what others call certified, it is the same procedure. All you need to get a letter from your former school introducing you to your name. Go onto our website, go to verification of results, and then fill in, submit the letter from school. If a document is lost, submit the police letter, then your national ID or a copy of your other ID. It could be a passport or your school ID. Then you pay 50,000 for each of the levels, and you get your document within 3 to 5 working days.
That's interesting, and that message goes to me too. We have come to the end of our conversation, but I will ask, someone has this question. My question is, if you scored, this is Aidin Godwill Nyakuni from Yombe. He says, if one scored all C in every subject, will they be able to choose science combinations?
Yes, you need to be guided still. That's why we have continuous assessment. The school-based assessment is going to be very critical in all this. How have you been performing? But if somebody has all C's, preferably, I wouldn't recommend they do sciences. Unless they have some A, B somewhere, maybe just a C in one of the science combinations. It may be a tall order for them. If they have C's throughout, it may be a tall order for them.
Okay.
But it needs guidance from the school teachers and the parents and their own capabilities. Because someone may feel like, yes, I'm able to do it. Your potential, your abilities, and your passion, and your career path. So we should be able to guide. If they have a passion for it, and they have potential, and they're able to do it, then they're up to the task. Why not? Go ahead and do the commission you want.
Okay. Now, Jolly from Bushenyi Chamhunga says, good morning, ladies. Madam Teacher in Green, thank you for looking smart.
Oh, thank you.
That was a compliment from Jolly. So someone is saying, what if my daughter got E in physics, but the rest she got B, C, 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 D, D, C, C? Will she get both the certificate and transcript? I think this is a yes.
Definitely, as long as you have you have attained at least one minimum of a D in one of the 8 subjects. Result 1, you have performed well. You are a success. You can go higher. You are able to achieve. Please keep on developing your potentials. You are able, please, you are able, go for it. Go ahead.
Okay, and John Oduno says, I have a student who scored English, D, Math, D, Physics, D. Now, how do you grade such a student yet the government wants them to do sciences? But for you, what do you want for your child? The grading of UCE results, parents are not understanding it in short, but your students of the new curriculum, they understand it.
We thank God, but what I want to tell people is that it is work in progress. This is the first year and this is the first cohort. And for us as a country, I think it's for us, we need to say congratulations to everybody who has been part of this process. We are all, we've all achieved. We are all achievers. We are moving on. We want to welcome the feedback. Please keep the feedback coming because it's going to help us improve. It is work in progress for all of us as a sector, for all of us as a nation, because this concerns our own children.
Okay, and as we close, Oluma Emi from Lira City asks, hey, does it mean anyone with results starting from result 2 upwards won't get a certificate?
Exactly, they won't get a certificate, but they'll get a transcript describing their capabilities, their abilities, and what they've been able to achieve throughout the 4 years. And they can choose either to go vocational, or they can choose to repeat if they so wish.
Okay, your last comment, Madam Jennifer.
Thank you so much. I want to say thank you very much to everybody who has been part of this process since 2020. As a board, we are very grateful to everybody. We are grateful to the parents who gave us their learners. We are grateful to the teachers who have been teaching our children and made this against all odds. They taught the children, and we are very grateful to NCDC for the curriculum, for the guidance, Ministry of Education for the guidance. We are very grateful to the UNEP staff. They've gone against all odds to make sure we have have this assessment come out successfully. And the examiners, we had some examiners strike, but some stayed with us. All our examiners, thank you very much. The scorers, we no longer call them examiners. The scorers, thank you very much. Team media, the media has been very helpful in this entire process. So I want to say thank you so much to everybody, and for us, please keep the feedback coming throughout the various channels. It is very positive feedback, and I'm happy that we are talking about the new curriculum. We are not discussing going back to the old curriculum. We are discussing going for the new curriculum. We are going to ensure we give you the competence-based assessment, and that our learners are going to be up to the task. Our learners are going to be competitive wherever they will be positioned. So thank you so much for being part of the process. May God richly bless you. And to the learners, congratulations to our first cohort of learners. Our second cohort of learners, please do submit your scores for continuous assessments. Schools, please submit scores for continuous assessment for the learners currently in Senior 4. God bless.
Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. And congratulations to you at UNEB. You've done a tremendous job. We didn't know how this was going to turn out, but you have delivered. And we will understand the results.
We thank the grace, by the grace of God, yes. Yeah, we're waiting for the selection, and we believe it's going to be well. Parents just keep encouraging our learners to go do the combination they are supposed to be doing according to their abilities, according to their passions. Let's not push them to, let's not force them to do what they're not able to do or what they don't want to do.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much, dear viewer, for being a part of this conversation. I saw that you have been much interested in the point of discussion because you've been giving us your feedback, your comments, and your questions. I couldn't share everything that you've asked, but I tried my best to see that Miss Jennifer here answers most of our questions. Well, stick around. Good Morning Uganda does continue. I'll catch you again tomorrow at 6:30. Keep that date, and let me see you tomorrow. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Coming soon on UBC.
Are you ready to take your fitness journey to the next level? Join the Sweat Squad by Sion. Coming soon to UBC TV. With expert guidance, cutting-edge workouts, and a supportive community. You'll be unstoppable.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archive stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.